Good afternoon, Nigerians. Good afternoon, all over the world. Where we have Nigerians. Uh, I can't say compliments of the season. What season are we in Nigeria? But I can say that for all those who identify with the Islamic faith, that the Lord God Almighty may answer your prayers at this time. Now, my video today is to talk about the recent happenings in the nation and then to focus more on Lagos State. All right, so we've been greeted with the news that that man who clamors for Oduduwa Republic, Sunday Igboho, has now been arrested, and in some respects, I'm beginning to think that the hunter has become the hunted. All right, this was a man who lost his own aides to a supposed gun battle. All right, when his house was raided in the middle of the night, ostensibly by state agents. And I'm thinking, we have clamorings for different crimes in Yoruba land and in the rest of the nation. We are certain that we are talking about insecurity. We have never heard that herdsmen were arrested or that they were prosecuted, but we can tell there are some of us who are victims of this onslaught. Okay, I know someone whose brother was killed in Ogun State on his farm. I know people who have been kidnapped, okay, by people who are herders. I've never had it in the news that the government declared those herders wanted. I have never heard of it. Yet the government is celebrating that Sunday Igboho has now been arrested. So if you ask me, what would Sunday Igboho be charged with? How did he jump on the priority list? We've got several secondary school children, tertiary institution students who have been kidnapped. We have never heard that government says that we are trying to rescue them. We've got Dapchi girls, we've got different, even Chibok girls till date, who government has never said that we declare all of those people who are responsible for these kidnappings, we declare them wanted. Instead, what we do is we negotiate with bandits, we assimilate them into the military and say that they are repentant. Now, these are worrying situations, these are worrying trends, and except that they are arrested, then it doesn't bode well for us as a nation. So I wrote, lest we forget. Sunday Igboho was talking about attacks on Yoruba land, and that's why some intellectuals in the southwest decided to support him. All of a sudden, he's now become a fugitive. We shouldn't forget the message that he was proclaiming about the insecurity, something that must be addressed. Now, that said, I move on to something equally important. Only last week, many residents of Lagos witnessed another downpour and, of course, flooding. I'll try to trace the antecedents. Now, the reason is because I believe sincerely in my heart of hearts that Governor Sanwo-Olu must be one who is humane. I really do believe that somewhere in him he's got empathy and that he has the competence to run Lagos State. Himself having been in the administration many years. Since 1999, Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State has held one position or the other. He's been commissioner for establishment. He's been LSDPC chair or LSDPC CEO at a point. So someone who is not new to governance in Lagos State, you think that he's got all the experience to tackle the problem. Now, what is the problem at this time? Many areas of Lagos were flooded last week, and so many people lost assets to it. There were many people who lost their cars to this incident. Now, go back a bit. In Ipaja, a few years ago, a young lady was swept up by flood. She was swept away, lost her life, not even in her prime yet, as a result of flooding. So I decided, rather than blame Sanwo-Olu or blame Joe Igbokwe, who is a special advisor on drainages, rather than blame them, let's look at the problem itself. Now, number one, Joe Igbokwe seems to be someone I'm struggling to accord him any respect this afternoon. I am struggling. Now, Joe Igbokwe is an engineer, I believe a trained engineer who seems to know how to engage the public. But with what has happened recently, you can tell that he has absolutely no idea of anything called governance. And the facts are there. Igbokwe is the one who makes Igbo people feel as though they can only amount to anything in Lagos by becoming slaves. That is his strategy. I think that he needs to examine himself again. He needs to examine his modus operandi and those who follow him as well. The only relevance he has in Lagos State is to tell Igbos that they will never amount to anything except they are enslaved to what they now know as APC. And then you will find so many intellectuals also queuing behind him, thinking that it is a turn-by-turn situation. It is clear. It is clear. It is crystal clear that wherever Igbo people are settled or are doing business in Lagos, they are faced with evil, lack of good governance, absence of infrastructure. Go anywhere where the Igbos are doing business. Do you want to go to Ladipo? Do you want to go to Aswani? They should be asking Igbokwe questions. Do you know how many times government has awarded a supposed pedestrian bridge for Aswani Market, Ladipo? Can Igbokwe really come out and defend this? Show him this video. It's there. It's there. Look for the budget. Aswani Ladipo, absolutely nothing. No semblance of any infrastructure. Yet we depend on that market for our spare parts. This same Igbokwe who is ostensibly of the Igbo extraction, not defending that which will give the Igbos in Lagos quality life. Go to Festac. APC has some semblance of following in Festac. Look at the roads from Rainbow. I have had my friend from university died a few years ago, and I decided to go for a service of songs in Festac. I spent nothing less than 4 hours on Apapa Osho, the expressway, that when I eventually got into Festac, first of all, I lost my engine when I turned into Rainbow. I hit the bottom tray on the floor and I knew that was it. By the time I was turning into Agopala's way, I couldn't even make the service of songs anymore, so that I returned home as a result. Yet you will find people in Festac following and supporting APC. Do you have roads? Do you think you don't deserve roads? Yet Igbokwe will come and make you feel, oh, it's turn by turn. Someday, what will he deliver to Igbos of Lagos State? Now there's been, under his own nose, his infrastructure, he's in charge of drainages. They call him special advisor of gutter. Now, he is in charge of infrastructure. There's been flooding and he's not coming out to say anything. Since last week, Thursday and Friday. Today is Tuesday, so that's almost 7 days ago. What manner of government is this? Is this a government that empathizes with its people? Is this a government that realizes its responsibilities to its people and wants to be held accountable? Both Igbokwe and the governor of Lagos State have not said pim since last week. They've not said nothing. People have lost their cars. And guess what? I went back. I decided to try to do some kind of research. Way back May, 2-3 months ago, Igbokwe and someone who came out to say Lagos would experience extra flooding this year, according to meteorological projections, which was good. What I did not see at the end of it was anything that they were going to do to tackle it. It's not the first time that it will rain in Lagos. It's not the first time that it's going to flood. Anybody who is interested in governance in Lagos State will know that Lagos will flood from year to year. It's not even a prediction. In fact, indices all over the world say that Lagos will sink within the next 50 years. So it's not if I say to you that we will experience even greater flooding next year, it's not because I'm smart. It's because it is there. It's going to happen. It's because within the next 50 years, there's a possibility that Lagos will sink. The whole world is talking about it. It's not only Lagos. There are at least 7 cities of the world that will potentially sink within the next few years. And so that rain happened. It's not the first time. It's not the first time Lagos will flood. But what did the governor do to warn Lagosians? Other than to come out in May. And it's online right there. Other than to come out in the month of May to say, oh, Lagos, we are going to experience torrential rainfall. Okay, so what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? Are you telling me that there's no agency of Lagos State that can determine, look, tomorrow is where that rain is going to fall? You know what, guys? Maybe stay in your home. Stay at home, for starters, so that you don't lose your cars, because there's absolutely nothing we'll do when you lose your cars. So that you don't spend time in traffic. Look, Lagosians, for every other hour you spend in traffic, it's a reduction in lifespan. Whether you like it or not, it's not good for well-being. not mental well-being, not health. It's not good for well-being at all that you spend time in traffic. It's not even safe. So that 4-5 hours in traffic, we'll enjoy it. We just say, oh, I spent, and then you start saying, I spent 5 hours, I spent 8 hours before I got home. Are you not tired? Are you not hungry? Do you think that the government cannot do anything about you spending time in traffic? So I go back to the issue of the rainfall. So it rained. Government had absolutely nothing to do. What is the cause of flooding? Can we ask ourselves that question? Only how many years ago we were talking about, I forget the name of that waste management agency, that we spent billions, that we borrowed on and spent billions on when Ambode was governor. This is less than 2 years. Nobody says anything about that agency anymore. Nobody talks about recovery of the funds. Nobody talks about taking responsibility for that agency. I forgot the name of that agency with branded green in Lagos State. So if refuse disposal, if it's a cost for block drainages, then we must execute an action plan on putting an end to this. The government must take responsibility. But that has not been done. And people have lost their cars. People have lost man hours to that torrential rainfall. And then you expect a governor that is sympathetic to the plight of the people, responsible for governance, to say, Lagosians, I own up. I'm sorry about that rainfall. Or I'm sorry about the devastating effects of that rainfall. The Joe Igbokwe, whose ministry is directly responsible for this, should say, we are sorry about the devastation. That is what they should do. That's what they can do. If there's any release, please show me. Post any release that the governor or Joe Igbokwe says, we are sorry about the devastating effects. If they think that they owe a responsibility to Lagosians. I am shocked. I'm shocked at Sanwo-Olu's attitude. I'm genuinely shocked. And I will be more shocked when it comes back to ask for the votes of Lagosians. Ipaja will flood. Agege will flood. Orile Agege will flood. Lekki will flood. Don't these areas, don't they deserve some semblance of good governance? Yet they've not been able to come out to say, you know what, guys, we apologize. What will I do differently? What can be done differently? Say to all those whose cars have been destroyed now, go to the nearest MOT center. In fact, we have tow vehicles. Tell us where your vehicles are. We will take your vehicles to the nearest MOT center and we will fix whatever has been the effect of that rainfall on your car engines. That is being responsible. That is being responsible. All over Lagos State, I don't know, maybe 50,000 cars were involved. Maybe. By taking that kind of step, people will have confidence in you. Citizens will trust in your government to do what is right. Say to them, we'll fix your cars. They don't need to go to court to enforce their fundamental rights to own assets. You can't call that rainfall. You can't call it force majeure. You can't say we didn't know it's going to rain. I went back and looked at the predictions of the meteorological services. September would even witness greater rainfall. How is government engaging? How is government engaging the citizens? And I think it's awful. It's horrible. That's why I'm speaking against it. And I think that the people deserve better from their government. If you follow APC, this is not about fighting. Please go and speak to your leaders. Engage the people. Even if you are not doing anything, let it seem as if you are doing something. Let it not be in 2023 that you come asking for votes when you are wicked and you don't show any empathy for the welfare of people. And this again calls to mind, this is the time to be empowered to vote. This is the time to be able to put our house in order so that we may be able to vote out wicked leaders. And the Lord God Almighty will help us. Thank you.